So, welcome children once again. I am going to continue with the numerical problems of exercise 1A. Okay. Now, here you can see that I have already solved 10 numericals with you. This is the 11th numerical. Right. Now, I'll read out the 11th numerical, children. It is very important that as you read the numerical, you have to ready the, the diagram along with it. It has been mentioned that you have a uniform meter rule. So I have taken the uniform meter rule from 0 to 100 centimeters. And let me see, the diagram is already given. Yes, you have been given the diagram in the textbook. So I have just copied the diagram from there. You can see it is a uniform meter rule. One weight of 40 GF is suspended at 10 centimeter mark. And the other weight of 20 GF is suspended at 90 centimeter mark. Okay. And there are different parts in this particular question. The first part is that they've asked you, is the rule in an equilibrium? So in order to find that out, we will use the principle of moments. Sum of anti-clockwise moments is equal to sum of clockwise moments. That is W1 L1 is equal to W2 L2. We substitute the values. 40 GF into, now what is L1? Be very careful. It is 50. It is a distance or length between 50 and 10. So that will be 50 minus 10, and that would be 40 centimeters. Okay, is equal to 20 GF. And again, what would be L2? What would be L2? See, 90 minus 50, and that is 40 again. Okay, so you have to take the distance between the two. That is 50 minus 10 on the LHS and 90 minus 50 on the RHS. Now solve it. It is 1600. This is 1600 GF centimeters, and you can see this side is 800. So naturally, I have taken that 1600 GF is not equal to 800 GF centimeters. So it is not in equilibrium. Okay. Now, the second part of the question says that you have to add an additional weight of 40 GF. How are you going to add, or where are you going to add it? Now, it is understood that if on one side it is 1600 GF centimeters on anti-clockwise side, and on the clockwise side it is 800 GF centimeters, you definitely are going to put the 40 GF on this side, on the clockwise side, because here it is less. So that's why I have taken 600 GF centimeter is 800 GF centimeter plus the W3L3, which is the additional weight. So W3, now what will I do? I'll take the 800. So I'll subtract it. 1600 minus 800 is equal to W3, which is 40 GF. And you are supposed to find out the L3. So that will be 800 divided by 40. And that is 20 centimeters. Naturally, it would be on the RHS side. 20 centimeters on the RHS would be 50 plus 20. And that is at the 70 centimeter mark. Is that clear? Okay. It will be on the RHS side. Then that's it. Now we move on to the 12th question. In the 12th question, it has been given that there is a boy who weighs 20 kgf, and that boy is sitting on one end of a 4 meter. Can you see I have shown 4 meter long seesaw. This is a 4 meter long seesaw. Boy of 20 kgf is sitting at one end. That is given. Now, when the boy sits at one end, naturally the seesaw is going to get depressed on that particular side. The question says, where should a man of 40 kgf sit in order to counterbalance this seesaw, so that the seesaw is in horizontal position again? So we are using the principle of moments. W1 L1 is equal to W2 L2. Clear cut question. The boy is, W1 is 20 kgf. Right, and it is a seesaw equal to 4 meters, so naturally it's going to be pivoted in the center, that is 2 meters. So naturally it is 20 kgf into 2 meters, that is 40 kgf meter, is equal to, the man is 40 kgf, where should he be seated in order to counterbalance the boy? So when I solve this, L2 works out to 40 divided by 40, that is 1 meter on RHS side. Very, very important. 1 meter on RHS, or you could say 3 meter mark, that is also correct. Okay, so this was the 12th numerical problem. Now we go to the 13th numerical problem. Okay, slightly the complexity would increase now. In this question, it has been given you have a physical balance. Okay, I'm reading the information and you have to represent it as you read with the help of a diagram. A physical balance, one arm is 60 centimeters, the other arm is 40 centimeters. Okay, a weight of 100 GF is hung from the shorter arm. It has been mentioned. A weight of 100 GF is hung on the shorter arm. So naturally it's understood this is longer, 60 centimeters, this is shorter. So the 100 GF is hung on the shorter arm. What weight? The question says what weight should be hung from the longer arm in order to counterbalance it. Again, according to principle of moment, sum of anti-clockwise moments is equal to sum of clockwise moments. Children, you know W1 L1 should be equal to W2 L2. What is W1? You don't know. You need to find it out. What is L1? 60. Okay, it is given. Ready-made length is given. So we need not subtract. And the other side 100 GF into 40 centimeters. So what do we get W1 as? 100 into 40 upon 60. Okay, and it comes to 66.666. So in order to round it off, it is a recurring thing. So we will do it 66.67 and it will be GF on the, that is the value of W1. Okay, I hope you have seen it and understood it. It's a direct and simple question. Now we move on to the 14th numerical, children. Okay, a 14th numerical is supported with a diagram. In this particular question, you have been given this particular meter rod. You can see I have drawn it. It is a meter rod. Definitely it will be, the CG would be 50, but they have given 2 points on the rod, A and B. A is at a distance of 40 centimeters. The total length, ready-made length is 40 centimeters. And B, total length is 20 centimeters. At B, a weight of 250 GF is suspended, and at point A, 150 GF. Now this question is divided into 4 parts. Okay, the first part says you are supposed to find out the total anti-clockwise moment about point A. You can see it is going to rotate. This end is anti-clockwise while this end will be clockwise. So the first part is you are supposed to find out the total anti-clockwise moment about point A. So simple, W1 into L1. What is W1? You can see very clearly 150 GF. What is L1? 40 GF, 40 centimeters. So that will be 6000 GF centimeters. So this is the first part. Second part is you are supposed to find out the clockwise moment about point B due to B about point O, and similarly total anti-clockwise about point O due to A, right? So that we have found out. Now due to B it would be again W2 L2. What is W2? 250 GF. What is L2? 20 centimeters. You can see, and that works out to 5000 GF centimeters. This is 250 and this is 20. So that is 5000 GF centimeters clockwise. Now the third part says you have to find out the difference between the two, whether they counterbalance or not. It's clear they will not counterbalance. See, one is 6000, the other is 5000. So what would be the difference? You know what to do. Anti-clockwise minus clockwise, that is 6000 minus 5000. Why positive? Because anti-clockwise. Why negative? Because clockwise. And that is 1000 GF centimeters. Because anti-clockwise is greater, so it will be 1000 GF centimeter anti-clockwise, because this is a greater one. Anti-clockwise moment is greater than clockwise moment. Then there's the fourth part. They say you want to counterbalance it. Actually, it is not counterbalancing. You can see one side is 6000, other side is 5000. You want to counterbalance it. So where will you take an additional weight of 100 GF? Now, because we know this side, the anti-clockwise side is 6000, the clockwise side is 5000. So naturally, we are going to take this 100 GF on the clockwise side. So that is 6000 GF centimeter is equal to 5000 GF centimeter plus W3 L3. So that will be 6000 minus 5000 is equal to, what is the W3 which you have to take additional weight? It has been given 100 GF. You are supposed to find out where will it be suspended. So that is you are supposed to find out the value of L3. So that will be 1000 is equal to 100 GF into L3. You are supposed to find out the value of L3. That will be 1000 divided by 100. And it works out to 10 centimeters on the RHS side. Very important for you to mention this, RHS. Okay, 10 centimeters on the RHS side. Okay, so these are the 4 parts of the 14th numerical. You can see, calculated the anti-clockwise first, then the clockwise as asked, then the difference between the two, and finally, where should the additional weight of 10 GF be suspended. Okay, now we go to the 15th numerical problem. In the 15th numerical problem, children, it has been given that you can see the diagram. Actually, I have drawn it. It has been given in the question that you have a uniform meter rule, okay, from 0 to 100. It is naturally the CG would be 50 and the weight of the rule has been given. The weight of the rule is 10 GF. It has been given, but the rule is pivoted at at 0. Pivoted point is 0. Okay, so naturally when you pivot it at 0, this particular weight is hanging at the center point 50. The rule is going to get depressed downwards on the LHS side because it is supported here, not in the center. So the question says what moment of force depresses the rule? So that would be 10 GF. It is pivoted here and 10 GF is at 50. So naturally the distance is 50. So it will be 10 into 50. It will depress by 500 GF centimeters. Okay. And the second part is how can you make it horizontal? Now when it is going down this way, that is it is going down clockwise, you need to make it horizontal again. So you're going to apply a force upward at this end in order to counterbalance it. So naturally it can be made horizontal by applying a force of that has to be found out, W2 has to be found out, but L2 will be 100. I told you in order to counterbalance it will be least force, so maximum distance that will be at 100, it will be a force will be applied, we have to find out that. So that would be W2 into 100 is equal to this because it has to counterbalance this particular moment of force. Okay, so W2 will be 500 divided by 100, that is 5 GF. So it is understood that a 5 GF force will be applied upwards at the 100 centimeter mark in order to counterbalance 500 GF centimeter. Okay, so this way it has to be solved. Now we go to the 16th numerical. A uniform half meter rule. It is being given, it is a half meter rule. Now half meter rule means it is from 0 to 50 and it will be pivoted at 25 centimeter. The CG will be at 25, but in the question it is given the knife edge. That is the knife edge is at 29 centimeters, but the CG of course will be at the midpoint, that is 25. Now they have asked you to find out the mass of the rule, and you know the mass of the rule will act at 25 centimeter mark. We know the mass of the rule is going to act at the CG. So we will use the formula sum of anti-clockwise moment is equal to sum of clockwise moment. Okay, and it has been given that 20 gram is hung from one end. From one end, children. Again, it's that type of question. We know the CG is at 25, right? 29 is the pivot. So naturally, the 20 gram won't be hung at the 0 mark because then there would be two weights on the LHS. So 20 grams would be hung on the RHS, that is at 50 centimeters. So we use the formula W1L1 is equal to W2L2. Let's substitute the value. What is W1? We don't know the weight of the rule. What is L1? It is 29 minus 25 is equal to, that is 4, is equal to 20 gram force. Why gram force? Because it's acting in the downward direction. So we have to take force of gravity. 20 gram force into 50 minus 29, that is 21. When you solve, the weight of the rule comes out to be 105 GF. Okay, this is the 16th question. Now children, quickly we move on to the 17th question. Let me see. Yes. Now in the 17th question, again you have different parts, but it's an easy question. It has been given there is a uniform meter rule. So I have drawn it 0 to 100. Of course CG at 50. In this question they have said that the weight of the rule is 100 grams. So naturally the weight of the rule will act at the CG. But the rule is pivoted at 40. That has been given. The fulcrum is at 40. So I have drawn the fulcrum at 40. Now they are saying that you are suspending 100 grams. Sorry, you are suspending a unknown weight, unknown mass at 20 centimeters. So I have shown it unknown mass at 20 centimeters. Okay. So once again, uniform meter rule 0 to 100, CG 50, weight of mass of the rule is given 100 grams and it is fulcrum is at 40 and you're suspending a mass, unknown mass at 20. This is the question. This will come later. This is the next part. Now, you're supposed to find out the value of M. Simple, we use the principle of moments. W1L1 is equal to W2L2. What is W1 children? M. What is L1? L1 is this 40 minus 20 is equal to W2. W2 is this. On the naturally, because see, one side the mass is not given, you have to find out the other side of this particular fulcrum is 100. So 100 into what's the distance? 50 minus 40. 50 minus 40. When I solve this, it comes to m into 20 is 100 into 10. And ultimately, the mass is found out to be 50 GF. So I found out this unknown mass to be 50 GF. Now again in the question, there's a slight variation. They say that the mass which you have found out, you have to shift from 20 to 10. So that's why I've shifted. See, I've taken dotted because it's a position which they have said to suppose. So now suppose the mass which you have found out, that is 50 GF, is shifted from 20 centimeter mark to 10 centimeter mark. What is going to happen? That's the question. Now what have I done? This time the 50 is here. Okay. And the distance would be 40 minus 10. Isn't it? Because it shifted to 10 centimeter mark. That I have done. 40 minus 10 is equal to the other side remains the same. 100, 50 minus 40. Now when I check it out, it comes to 1500 GF centimeter on the anti-clockwise side. And here it comes to 1000 GF centimeter on clockwise side. And you can see they are not counterbalancing. That's why I've written not equal to. Now the third part says it is not equal to. It's clearly visible. So what's the resultant? That will be 1500 anti-clockwise minus 1000 clockwise, and it will come to 500 GF centimeter anti-clockwise because it's greater on the anti-clockwise side. Now the fourth part says you have to balance it, you have to counterbalance it. So where are you going to suspend an additional weight of 50 GF? Now look at this and look at this. Here you can see that the clockwise is lesser, so naturally this additional weight will be on the clockwise side. That is what I have done. 15 GF centimeter is 1000 GF centimeter plus W3 L3 on the clockwise side because here it is less. So when I subtract, it comes 500 GF centimeter is 50 into L3, which I want to find out, and that would be 500 upon 50. 10 centimeters on the RHS side. This additional weight of 50 GF will be hung 10 centimeters on RHS, and 10 centimeters on RHS means if the fulcrum is at 40, 10 centimeters on RHS means at 50 centimeter mark. Okay, so this is how you solve numerical number 17, children. Okay, just have a look. Now we are left with the last numerical, which is slightly logical, not solving but logical. Okay, so let's go to the last numerical now. Here in this last numerical, you have been given a diagram. It is clearly been shown that there are two ends of this particular rod. There is a reaction force of R1 acting at one end and the other end R2, and it is pivoted at both the ends. Okay, and there is a weight of acting in the center, W, and they are counterbalanced. It is in equilibrium, yes. This rod is in equilibrium and the total length of the rod is L. Okay, now when the total length is L and the W is in the center, so naturally half and half, this is L by 2 and this is L by 2. It's understood. Okay, because it is in the center. And it is given that the rod is in equilibrium. Now when the rod is in equilibrium, naturally it is understood that W counterbalances R1 and R2. So that's why I have written R1 plus R2 should be equal to W. You know, because it's totally in equilibrium. So naturally R1 plus R2 should be equal to W. Then only it will be in equilibrium. Now, now according to principle of moments applied here, W1 L1 is equal to W2 L2. What is W1, children? You can see it's R1. What is L1? L by 2. So I have taken that R1 into L by 2 is equal to what is the other side? R2 into L by 2. Now because L by 2 and L by 2 are same, so they cancel. They cancel out. So I get R1 is equal to R2 and I keep it as 1. Okay. When R1 is equal to R2, I have proved R1 is equal to R2. Now, because it is in equilibrium, I told you R1 plus R2 should be equal to W. And from 1 we know R1 is equal to R2. So I can say that R1 plus R1. Instead of R2, I can write R1 because they both are equal. So I say R1 plus R1 is W. So 2R1 is W. So what is R1 then? W by 2. See, in this question, we are supposed to find out what is R1 and what is R2. So naturally from here, I found out that R1 is W by 2. And because R1 is equal to R2, so R2 is also W by 2. isn't it? So therefore I have proved that R1 and R2 both are equal and both are equal to W by 2. Okay, so just have a look at this particular question, how I have solved it. In equilibrium, so R1 plus R2 is equal to W, right? First step. Second, principle of moments, L by 2 same, to cancel. So I prove R1 is equal to R2. Then I take this again and I say, because R1 plus R2 is W and both are equal, so say R1 plus R1 is W, 2R1 is W, and I found out the value of R1, and because R1 is equal to R2, so it is also equal to W by 2. So all numericals solved, children. Go through them, solve them on your own, practice them, okay, and be confident. Thank you, children.